Hello everyone and welcome to today's video on Docker's tutorials for beginners at Simplilearn. Do you know, friend, that Docker is a powerful tool for simplifying the process of creating, deploying and also managing applications within containers. These containers encapsulate all the necessary dependencies and libraries, ensuring consistency across different environments. This introductory tutorial will guide you through the basics of Docker, starting with the installation, set up your system. You'll also learn how to create Docker images using Dockerfiles, which are kind of text files containing instructions for building containers. Now, before we move on and learn more about it, I request you guys that do not forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now, here's the agenda for our today's session. So guys, we will start with what is Docker. Moving ahead, we will discuss about why Docker is important. Then we will learn about Docker versus virtual machine. Moving ahead, we will also deep dive into Docker components like Docker engine, Docker images, Docker container, and Docker registry. Then we will move on to installing Docker on our Windows system. And finally, we will wrap our session with a hands-on. Just a quick info, guys. Simplilearn has got a postgraduate program in DevOps in collaboration with Caltech CTME, which is a professional development course that is going to square your skills with the industry standards. This is a cutting-edge blended learning which is going to combine live online DevOps certification classes with interactive labs that will give you a hands-on experience. So hurry up now and join the course. The course link is given in the description box. So guys, let's start with what is Docker. So guys, Docker is a powerful platform that revolutionizes the software development and deployment by simplifying the process of building, shipping, and running applications within lightweight and portable containers. These containers encapsulate everything that an application needs to run, including code, runtime, system tools, libraries, which ensures consistency across different environments. Unlike traditional virtual machines, Docker container shares the host system kernel, making them extremely efficient and fast to start up. Docker enables developers to package their applications and dependencies into easily distributable images, which can be deployed seamlessly across any infrastructure from local development environments to public or private clouds. With Docker, team can accelerate software delivery, improve scalability, and enhance collaboration between development, operations, and quality assurance teams, ultimately leading to a faster innovation and more reliable software releases. Why Docker is important? Docker is important for several reasons. So guys, the first reason that comes up to my mind is portability. Guys, Docker containers are lightweight and portable, which allows applications to run consistently across different environments, such as developer laptops, on-premises servers, and cloud platforms. This portability enables seamless migrations and scaling of applications without compatibility issues. The next one that comes up to my mind is efficiency. Docker containers shares the host system kernel, leading to faster startup times and reduced overhead compared to the traditional virtual machines. This efficiency also enables higher resource utilization and improved application performance. Next that comes up to my mind is isolation. Docker also provides process-level isolation, which allows applications to run independently within their containers without interference from other containers or host system. This isolation enhances security and stability by minimizing the impact of software conflicts and vulnerabilities. The next one is scalability. Docker's lightweight and modular architecture makes it easy to scale applications horizontally by deploying multiple containers across distributed environments. This scalability enables organizations to meet changing workload demands quickly and efficiently. Next comes is DevOps enablement. Docker facilitates DevOps practices by promoting collaboration between development teams and operations and QA teams. With Docker, developers can package and deploy applications consistently, while operations team can manage infrastructure more efficiently using container orchestration tools like Kubernetes. Now, overall, Docker simplifies the process of building, shipping, and running applications, which leads to a faster delivery, improved reliability, and increased agility for organizations across industries. Now, we'll try to understand what is the basic difference between a Docker and a virtual machine. So guys, if I talk about Docker versus virtual machines, Docker and virtual machines serve similar purposes, but they operate kind of differently. If I talk about virtual machine, they emulate the physical hardware to create isolated environments where multiple operating systems can run simultaneously on a single physical machine. Each virtual machine requires its own guest operating system, consuming significant resources and leading to slower startup times. In contrast, Docker uses containerization technology to run applications within lightweight, isolated containers that share the host operating system kernel. This approach eliminates the need for a guest operating system, resulting in faster startup times, lower resource overhead, and greater efficiency. Docker containers are highly portable and can be easily moved between environments, while virtual machines require more complex migration processes. Overall, Docker offers great agility, scalability, and resource efficiency compared to virtual machines, making it an ideal choice for modern microservices-based architectures, DevOps practices, and cloud-native applications. Now, we'll move on and understand about Docker components, where we will discuss about Docker engine, Docker images, containers, and Docker registry. So guys, Docker has 4 important components. The first one is Docker engine, then is Docker images, next comes containers, and there is Docker registry. Now let us discuss each one of them one by one. If I talk about Docker engine. So guys, Docker engine is a core component of the Docker platform. It is a client-server application that consists of a daemon process called Docker running on the host machine and a command line interface client called Docker, which is basically used to interact with the daemon. Docker engine manages Docker objects such as images, containers, volumes, networks, and many more. Now let's move on and discuss about Docker images. Guys, Docker images are lightweight, standalone, executable packages that contains everything needed to run a specific application, including the code, runtime libraries, dependencies, and system tools. Images are created using a Dockerfile, which specifies the instructions for building the image layer by layer. Images can be shared and distributed via Docker Hub or private Docker registries. Now, let us understand containers. So guys, Docker containers are exactly instances of Docker image that are running as isolated processes on the host machine. Each container has its own file system, networking, and isolated process space, making them lightweight and portable. Containers can be started and stopped, restarted and removed using Docker commands. They provide consistency across different environments and enable efficient application deployment and scaling. Now if you look at this architecture guys, you can see there are application A, application B and application C. And the overall architecture of a virtual machine includes a hypervisor beneath it, then there is a host operating system kernel, and then there is an infrastructure. The hypervisor typically operates as an intermediary layer between the host operating system and the virtual machine, which facilitates a communication between them. Whereas if I talk about Docker, you can see rather than containing an entire guest operating system within, a container leverages the host operating system through the container runtime while ensuring the isolation. Now we will move on and understand about Docker registry. So guys, Docker registry is a service basically for storing and distributing Docker images. Docker Hub is the official public registry provided by Docker, where users can find and share Docker images for a wide range of application and software stacks. Additionally, organizations can set up private Docker registries to store proprietary or sensitive images internally. Docker registries allows users to push, pull, manage Docker images, facilitating collaboration and deployment workflows. So guys, this was all about the basics of Docker. Now we'll move on and install Docker on our Windows system. So guys, now let's move on to our favorite web browser, that is Google, and from there we will go to Docker Desktop. Download. Okay, so just click on this and you are going to get this Docker Desktop. Now what you can do, just here you can just click for download for Windows. You can go for, if you have a supportive version for Mac Intel chip, you can go for this. If you have an Apple chip, you can go for this. If you have wanted to do for Linux, you can do for this. Now just click on this and you can say your Docker Desktop is just on the download list. Now few important things I want to tell you. After this, you need a distribution package, okay? So that is WSL for Windows. So you can download that distribution software, which is going to enable your Docker desktop. The installation process is very simple. Now let me show you some of the magics of using Docker desktop. Okay, so we will be building this normal folder. Okay, so here I've built the folder called Docker, and I'm using VS Code as our text editor. So guys, what I will do, okay, so I will open my VS Code and let me show you how our Docker desktop looks. Okay, so okay guys, you can see all over here, this is our Docker desktop. You will get something like this. Here is containers. Since I am running no containers, so it is showing empty. Here are images. You can download any images from the Docker Hub, which is our registry. And there's a builds, there is a volumes, there is a development environments. Okay, but there are a lot of other features. Okay, so let's move on little by little and let's understand how we can integrate Docker desktop in our development process. So guys, what I've done all over here, so I've created a folder which is kind of empty. Now, simple thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my VS Code, okay, and I will try to open this folder. So open folder, and on the desktop, I'm going to get a Docker folder. So just right click on this, okay, very nice. Now, let me delete this. So you can see all over here, I have created a file called Docker. So I'll delete it and make it once again. So just right click all over here and type Dockerfile. Okay, you can see there is a shine of a Docker, okay, all over here. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to type something, okay? We are going to type hello world on Docker. Sounds amazing, okay? Because on different programming languages, our first program is hello world. So I thought, like, let me show you how we can type hello world in our Docker. So guys, let me write the code. So I'm going to type from Alpine and latest. Okay. Now I'll explain each code one by one. Now here I'm going to create a directory. Okay. So let's create a directory. Okay. Now I will type run, okay, and mkdir, that will be our /app directory. Okay. Now we are going to write the hello world. Pretty good. Now, so in order to write hello world, I will type run echo hello world. Okay. And let's add some exclamation mark. Okay. So next, what I will do, since I've created a directory all over here, so /app /hello .text. Okay. Now we have type all over here. Now we are going to set the working directory. So we'll type work dir /app. Then I'm going to specify the command to run the container. So type specifying the command to run our container. Okay. cmd Okay, here missed something. That will be cat. Okay, now here let's type the name of our file, which is hello.txt. Okay. Now program is completed. This is a very basic program, and let me explain you what I have written. So guys, from Alpine latest means that it basically specifies the base image to use for the Docker image. In this case, we are using the latest version of Alpine Linux. Next, we can see I am creating a directory mkdir. Okay, so k is missing. So mkdir/app. Then what I'm doing, I'm writing the hello world. So run echo hello world, and I'm creating this app/hello.txt. Basically means it writes hello world to a file name hello.txt inside the /app directory. Then there is work dir. Okay, it actually sets the working directory inside the container to the /app, which is our working directory. Okay, now what is going to happen? This means that subsequent commands will be executed relative to this directory. And finally, we have written cmd cat hello.txt. It specifies the default command to run when a container is started from this image. In this case, it prints the content of the hello.txt using the cat command. So basically, this Docker file can be used to build an image. Running a container from this image will output a hello world. One more thing guys, that there is an extension and you can install the Docker extension in your VS Code. So you can say Docker. You can see I have already installed it. So you can install this extension on your VS Code. Now let us run our application. Okay guys, now the first command that I will be typing, that is docker build t hello world, which basically is going to do what? Is going to build our Docker file. So let's click on this. So you can see it is building our Docker file. Okay. Now it has created a directory all over here. Now let's run this file. So I will type docker run hello world, and you can see on our terminal it is printing hello world. We have successfully done this thing. Now there are certain other more important commands, and let me also tell you about it. Now guys, in this we'll be learning about important Docker commands. The first one that comes up to my mind is docker run, which we have already applied it all over here. So guys, the first command is docker run. So basically, this command is going to run a new container. For example, you can type certain like this, docker run hello world. Okay. So this is our first command. Now, in this case, you want to list the containers running. So for that, there's a command called docker ps. Okay. So suppose there are certain options associated with it, like psa or all. So let me show you this command all over here. And so you can see already this container is running, which is cat hello.txt, and it shows 3 minutes ago. So it is going to list the containers running. For the Docker images, you can type certain like this, Docker images. Okay. So it is basically going to show you the available images on your system. What images you have basically created. Okay. So let me type this. If I type all over here, so you can see hello world is our latest image. So there is an image ID created, okay, and the size of it. Okay. Now let us do certain things else, which is docker build So guys, Docker build is going to basically build a Docker image from a Docker file. So this syntax for this is like Docker build T and then the name of your image. So in this case, it was hello world. So this was there. So I've already ran this command on the system. I'll show you. So you can see Docker build T hello world. Now, next thing is Docker pull. So guys, if we talk about Docker pull, basically it's going to pull an image from a registry. For example, say Docker pull Nginx. Okay. Next is Docker push. So guys, Docker push is going to do what? It is going to push an image to a registry. So for example, Docker push, then hello world. Next is Docker stop. Okay. So basically Docker stop does what? Docker stop is going to stop a running container. And the same syntax can be used. So it will be Docker stop. Now, next command is Docker start. So basically, this command is going to start a stopped container. So for example, Docker start. Okay, let me copy this. And what is the ID of the container ID you have to give all over here? Okay. Next command is Docker restart. Now, this command is going to do what, guys? This command is basically going to restart a running container. So for example, the same command all over here. And with a particular container ID. Now, final, that is Docker RM. So guys, basically Docker RM is going to remove one or more containers. Okay. So for example, Docker RM, same, and with a particular container ID. Now, next command is Docker RMI. So guys, basically it's going to remove one or more images. So for example, Docker RMI and with a respective image ID. Now our final command, that is Docker X. Okay, so guys, it is basically going to run a command in a running container. For example, Docker XC. Okay, now in this, what you can give, guys, suppose Docker X it container. Okay, we're going to give the container ID. Or we can give /bin and give the bash command. So basically, this is going to run a command in a running container. That is what you have to remember about this command. It is a very useful command. Okay, so whenever you are building any microservices, there you can apply these principles. Now finally, so guys, these are just few basic commands to get started with Docker. So guys, that was all for today's video. I hope so you would have enjoyed our today's video on Docker tutorial for beginners.
Staying ahead in your career requires continuous learning and upskilling. Whether you're a student aiming to learn today's top skills or a working professional looking to advance your career, we've got you covered. Explore our impressive catalog of certification programs in cutting-edge domains, including data science, cloud computing, cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, or digital marketing. Designed in collaboration with leading universities and top corporations, and delivered by industry experts, choose any of our programs and set yourself on the path to career success. Click the link in the description to know more.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.